You're okay. Here we go. Welcome to the Auburn postgame show brought to you by Medical Properties Trust. My name is Wes Sinor, and I'm joined by Jordyn Peters, former Auburn defensive back. Jordyn, just first thoughts, just, instant analysis. Like, what are you thinking right now in terms of where this program is at? They just got beat 42-10 here in Athens.
Yeah.
So just thoughts on the state of the program at Auburn, dropping to 3-3 on the season.
Definitely they're in a definite tough position. Just coming off that win last week, a lot of people thought we weren't supposed to win that game. So we really wanted to come in and show people that we're that Auburn football. Like, we're still here no matter what happens last week. We're going to push it behind us and come out and play. So obviously this is not that. It's a lot of questions to be answered just around the board, just like why we just can't put all the pieces together and have a game, that Auburn football game that everybody knows that we can produce.
I want to ask you about the defense first. Yes, obviously you're a former defensive back here at Auburn. Just what's your take on the defensive performance today? It seemed like they were keeping Auburn in the game until they gave up the long run to Stetson Bennett, and then at that point it was kind of out of reach. But what was your take on the defense today, and especially defending Georgia's running attack?
The defense played pretty well. If you ask me, just you watched the first quarter, we ended 0-0. The defense was playing. We were forcing 3 and outs. We were keeping them behind schedule. They were actually having to play football, having to go through their game plan, and were forced to make plays. Our defense was playing that hard-nosed football that Auburn's known for on the defensive side. So to me, it reminded me a lot when I played, just fighting for points on the board. Like, our defense, we're going to come out there and we're going to fight, and you're not just going to run up the field automatically and just score at will. It's just finding those momentum plays to get points on the board. To me, that's what it came down to. Our defense, they held their end. They practiced their part. I talked to Jalen Simpson a lot over this week, just seeing where his head was at, and he said they had a good week of practice. They felt like they were ready, and that's what I saw. They came out, they were ready. They didn't play timid. It was a couple of plays where missed tackles, missed alignments. We've been still getting gapped out here and there, those gashing running plays. But overall, I feel like the defense gave us a fighting chance.
What do you make of some of the calls today on the offense, especially the fake punt? Auburn's only down 7-0 at that point. They do this fake punt that doesn't go well. They give up another touchdown, go down 14-0. It just seemed a little early for that kind of a fake. And I know that Harsin last week was making some bold play calls, I would say, in some fourth down situations. So just what are your thoughts on the offense tonight and Robbie Ashford and everything?
Well, to start with the fake punt call, that's one of those play calls where you're praised if it goes well, and if it doesn't go well, it's oh, what are you thinking? For me, I do think it was a little early to call it. I understand what he was trying to do. You need a momentum shift. You feel me? You're at Georgia. That's the first SEC game there, I believe they had said. So obviously, the atmosphere, the stadium's rocking. So you're trying anything to get your team some momentum to get you going. We don't have any points on the board. We're trying to get that play to all right, we're here. So I understand the call, but I don't think you should have called it that early. Definitely not that far back in the end zone, not with the number 2 team in Georgia. But to go along and talk about the offense, play calling wise, a lot of questionable play calls, but a lot of times it was just the experience with Robbie. I never want to put it on one play. A couple of times where Robbie was quick to run out the pocket, or you just got to sit there and hit the check down. It's on the pass calls, he's trying to get chunk plays every time, 10 plus yards. Sometimes Robbie on first, second down, we'll take a pass for 4, something like that. We just need positive yards to get rhythm and get this game. And I feel like Georgia didn't really allow him to get rhythm today. Obviously, you see moving forward in that game, it was just shooting ourselves in the foot time after time with a holding call, false starts, and that all goes to start just coming back to Robbie has to be able to calm all that down. I know you're inexperienced. But at the same time, this is the time. I feel like Harsin probably could have prepared Robbie a little bit better for that, knowing that TJ's out, knowing that regardless, good or bad, like you're in here, you're gonna have to be the leader. You have to lead this ship, whether it's sinking or whether it's sailing across the sea, if that makes sense. Um, you're the leader. So if things are going bad, we're ups and downs, a lot of downs today. You have to be that point there. Like we're here, let's get to doing what we practiced all week to do.
Do you think that at this point moving forward, if TJ Finley was healthy, would you stick with Robbie Ashford or would you just go back to TJ Finley? What would you do in that situation?
I feel like that's just with the season we've been playing both quarterbacks. So obviously, if TJ was healthy, he would have been in the game today. Just to calm Robbie down, even like I don't really feel like Robbie ever had a chance to just sit back for a series and really take a breath and calm down and play his type of ball. Because I do believe he's a very talented quarterback, obviously, because he did make a lot of plays today. But it's just knowing when to make them and when not to make them, and just knowing the flow of the game. He never had a time to like just sit back and take a break, take a and recalibrate.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, this is a tough place to play. The defending national champions. It's been a long time since Auburn has won here. 2005 was the last time. So it was definitely rocking today, and I'm sure that played a factor for Auburn. But
most definitely.
What do you think the future holds for Brian Harsin? Like the immediate future. Auburn's got they've dropped to 3-3 now. That's their second SEC loss, and they're about to go to Ole Miss, and then they have a bye week. If they lose at Ole Miss, they'll drop below 500 going into the bye week. Where do you feel Harsin is at right now?
That's a very interesting question, just because I don't know. Like I feel like Auburn's sticking with him, like trying to show some loyalty towards him, and not just trying to give him the boot automatically. But with how everything's going, it's hard not to question that and like try to get him up out of there. But really, what I think it comes down to is we just got him 2 years ago. We just had a payout with Coach Malzahn. So, too, I feel like it's money issues with that too. Like maybe even if we wanted to get him out of there, like can we afford to do it right now? And then I do also feel like it is a rebuilding process. Like it does take time to show results, but also this is the SEC. Like nobody wants to wait. Like it's the next year. Like if you can't do it the next year, like okay, what can we do better? Who can we get that's better? Like it's a fast-paced game, unfortunately for him. So his future is really just it's up in the air. If you ask me, I can't say yes or no because I feel like if it was a definite like yes, you're out of there, it would have happened already.
I'm going to kind of put you on the spot a little bit. You still keep up with a lot of your former athletes or former teammates, I should say. What's kind of the vibe from them that you're getting this season when you are communicating with the guys that are still on the roster?
The guys that are still on the roster?
Yeah, if you still keep up with any of those teammates that are still at Auburn, I mean.
Like I said, like the guys like Jalen Simpson, Javaris, Johnson, I talked to those guys, guys on the defense side of the ball, OP, all those guys. Like, it's really I don't try to like pester them with like a lot of football questions because that gets tiring. I try to check on their well-being, but
sure.
What a lot of what they say is just like they're just fighting. Like it's more like they know they have to do it. It's not necessarily for Coach Harsin or not for Coach Harsin, because I heard one thing on the games today. The announcer said just like the guys say they're fighting for Harsin, right or wrong, basically. And yes, they are. But if you think about it, that's what a player's supposed to do. They fight for their coach, because at the end of the day, they're fighting to make it to the next level. All those guys, they want to make it to the next level. So it's all about fighting for themselves and not necessarily worrying about a coach, because at the end of the day, a coach can leave and a coach can stay. So I feel like team morality, they're a little hurt because it's always Auburn that it's always been. Auburn's always like the little brother to the SEC somehow. Like we win sometimes, but then we never get the respect when we do win. And so the seasons that we are down, it's just like extra stuff. So
froze up on me a little bit.
Oh,
hopefully I'm not frozen still.
I can hear you, but
I think we'll wrap it up with that. Okay, can you hear me now? Okay, I think we'll wrap it up. Jordyn, I appreciate the time this evening. Auburn falls to 3-3 with a 42-10 loss at Georgia. And again, I mentioned they'll be traveling to Ole Miss next week. So we'll have, Brian Harsin's press conference is going on right now. We're going to have that on AL.com. And you can find the rest of our coverage at AL.com/Auburn.
Medical Properties Trust, at the very heart of healthcare.